Ooh, it occurs to me I should use a mic. So I'm wearing green today. Can you tell? Okay. I hope you're okay with a little bit of a crazy Drew. Well, welcome. This is Domain to Profit. It is live, meaning whatever this crazy dude decides to do, you get to see. So egg me on. Ask me to do silly stuff. I might. Like truth or dare, let's do this. I'm just kidding. Okay. This is Domain to Profit, where we look through expiring domain names and talk about how we can use those expiring domain names to make money. Domain to profit. The title gives us clues. Huh. Okay, well, we have all new domain names to look through this week because the domain names are expiring domain names, meaning that this week they expire, they go to auction, we look at them, and next week they're all new expiring domain names. Makes sense. We've been doing this for, 144 weeks? And the show ends, I'm sorry to say, I've announced that we are ending the show as of episode 150. So 150 will be our final one, and we'll see what happens after that, but I'm going to take a break for the summer. But the domain names will keep coming, and I will keep looking. I'm sure I'll do some impromptu lives and things like that. Needless to say, I'm glad you're here. We have some fun domain names to look at, and it's like, damn, these domain names, there's some good ones. There's some good ones. In fact, if I could play music without getting a copyright issue, I would so be playing the middle, like, what is it, Jimmy Eats World or Meets World or whatever. Anyhow, great song and a great domain name coming up today. Lots to see. Make sure you're saying hi in the chat. I see plenty of people out there. Make sure you're saying hi so others know you're here. YouTube is the primary chat, and hope to see you over there. This is Domain to Profit. We are on our way whenever I can click on the button for this right here. See you after this.
From domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from domain to profit. We'll show you how. Domain to profit, from domain to profit. Join Drew Walsh and get started right now.
Jeffrey, nice to have you. David, see you out there as well. Nice to have you. Yahoo used to be a popular website, and they completely failed regarding Jeffrey's comment. David, nice to have you. Nice to have you over on Twitter asking the questions all the time as well. And hey, Fred, yes. What is up, DTP peeps? In fact, because this community is the main thing. Like everybody out there, nice to have you. Kevin and Mike. And my clicking is working really slowly. I did a bunch of updates before the show, probably not the wisest thing to do. And let's see here. Good day, Jeff. And no final one. Well, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And yeah, shocked. I just announced last week. So yeah, this is, I talked about it last week's show, I believe briefly, but then decided that it's time to switch things up. And yeah, Fred, 150 weeks will be the end. We'll talk more about that as we get going as well. And yeah, Matt does know. I believe he was here when I was like contemplating it, and he's heard the behind the scenes all the time. He's right upstairs, like right up there, right back that way. So. And Hugh, nice to have you. Hugh, is that like, what a great name, Double H, Hugh Headley. Hugh Headley, you're a superhero, I know it. It's obvious, Peter Parker, and you know all those guys. Ian, nice to have you as well. Thank you all for chatting and saying hi. Keep it going. If you're in the chat over on YouTube especially, but anywhere I should be able to see it. Let us know if you see a domain name as we go through this list here over on expiringdomains.net. I'm sorry, expireddomains.net. This is the free site that we will be using to look through expiring domain names. So let me put up the QR code where you can find right up there. Bing! You can scan that, and that will take you to a video that is prepared to show you how to search through the domain names on expireddomains.net, and will let you see the exact domain names that we look at on the show. Otherwise, pretty much just go to expireddomains.net, set up a free account, go to Marketplace Domain Names, and then GoDaddy Expired Domains, and you can search around on your own at any time. We have it filtered down to 109,000 domain names. Here on the show, we only get to about, well, 200 to 400 domains, but they are the top domain names. You can see right up here, boom, 109,000. So how do we know they're top domain names? Well, GoDaddy allows us to order by the valuation, which if I can get from behind my head, there you go, right over there. The valuation, so once you set up your filters, you order by that. That brings the most valuable domain names in quotation marks, because it's not actually the most valuable. Ignore the valuation, other than it brings most likely the best domain names to the top. So we do that each week to get started, and now we have the most valuable domain names on the top. Now that you're here, we just pretty much go to the domain names. So call them out in the chat if you see one that I'm skipping over that you think I should talk about. I can tell you why either I skipped it or we'll talk about it. So we'll see what it is. Okay, let me go into my filters real quick. It occurred to me I want to get rid of enum. So this is one of the filters that we set up here, is getting rid of enum. That's a new filter. So that way I don't have to give the spiel every week about why we don't show enum domain names on the show. So there we go. Alrighty, starting off, Vegan Life, I believe we saw last week. Not sure if we talked about it. It sounds like a vegan magazine. That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything to me either. So we're going to kind of keep moving on it. Immoral, which I am scared to know what would be on that site, but that's a pretty good domain name. I don't know if I could spell it. In fact, I don't even know if that's the right spelling, but it is a good domain name to start with, immoral.com. I'm not going to type it in, not going to search it on Google. 7 days left, so this will be ending before next week's show, which will be a remote show from Florida. $12.59 is what is currently over on GoDaddy Auctions. And now, it sounds like a good domain name. I think it's spelled right. Value already going. Let's go check it out on our search tool, Spyfood.com. Ta-da! Spyfood.com. It is not free, and if you can see there, that was one of the domain names I bought at Buy It Now just earlier before the show. Clownacademy.com, 50 bucks. Thought it was okay. Immoral. I got to take a breath here and make sure that I'm doing things in the correct order. So essentially, we evaluate these domain names. How do you know whether or not a domain name is one that is worth $10,000, $100,000, or whether it's something you shouldn't even bother with? That is what we talk about week after week here, making sure you spend your hard-earned money the best possible way. And the best thing is, some of these domain names, we talk about how you can set up businesses and use them to make money, because like me, I have developed domain names, not just like a random domain name. Domain names are the entire foundation of my business, and I've used them to make significant amounts of money and just create a cool life that I enjoy. Maybe not for you, but it is for me. I love it, my ideal life, and that is what life is all about, trying to create and become the person you're meant to be and create the life for yourself that you want. Hopefully you're on board for that. Immoral may not be the best way, may not be the best background to talk about that, but let's check it out. Immoral.com, the keyword itself. So behind every domain name are the keywords that makes it up. We only look at .com domain names. The reason we do that is because .com is the pinnacle domain name. If you ever buy a .net, a .org, a .io, anything else, you certainly look to see who owns the .com, and you instantly start lusting after the best domain name extension there is, .com. So we don't bother to look at those other extensions. Those other extensions are child extensions compared to the .com. So there you go. There you go. So we only look at .com. But the nice thing about that is, because this is immoral.com, we can drop off the .com and just look at it as a keyword. And that is the power of .com. Can you do that for other domain names? Absolutely. But because .com's the pinnacle, we can do it more than we can with any other domain name. 47,000 searches for immoral. These are the people that are like bad, but they also have a good vocabulary. Something like that? Okay. Sexual immorality, and not immortality. Not sure why I added that. Yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm highlighting it, hitting Control F. This is one of the reasons I use a browser for this. I look through domain names for my phone as well, but being able to highlight where this domain name is used, which, look at this, boom, we hit Control F, and now our domain name is popping in all these other keywords. 47,000 searches for immoral by itself, but we see it's part of these other keywords. Right here in the definition, I don't like seeing these here, like defining the word, the synonym of the word. That means that a lot of these searches, they're not going to be money related, which we're going to see here in a moment because it shows up right here. So not really any cost per click happening up top there. And right here, there's nobody paying to advertise here. Not sure what's up with that. I'm actually surprised by that. I'm guessing it has something to do with Google's advertising requirements. Something tells me most products that want to advertise for immoral don't meet most of the requirements that Google wants for being able to pay them. So I don't know. Okay, here we go. So fun domain name. I can see it being a really fun site. In fact, I'm guessing there's a lot of people bidding on it for putting an adult site up on it, or diving into the outer parts of society, which I think is just a blast. Anyhow, there's not much money there, so this is more of a domain investment. What are you going to do with it? We have no idea. You can build on any land that's out there, any domain name, any extension. The .com's the best. But what do you expect to see on immoral.com? I don't know. I just know it's probably going to be naughty. It's going to be naughty. So, okay, moving on from immoral.com. If you're in the naughty business, that might be for you. Currently, what was that? $12.59. This domain name is one that I would completely expect to get to 5 figures in the auctions. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go for like $20,000, $25,000. We'll see. We'll see who finds out about it and who goes after it. Okay, the middle. I wish I had the video up. I was going to show like the YouTube video, and I like Googled it before the show, and talking about immoral, like those guys use their music video to attract ladies. It was like everybody's in underwear and everything else. Okay. Tangent. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with chat. You guys are all diving into stuff. I want to make sure that I don't miss too much. Yeah. Yeah, we will, like I said, I'll talk more about what we're going to do at the end of things, like after the show. I have big plans. It's just, I'm ready for a summer break. Okay, let's dive into the middle. Stuck in the middle with you, with Drew. I'm in a mood, I guess. So, themiddle.com, it is a song, it is a show, it is something you might be stuck in. I'm a middle child, the middle child. Well, actually, I'm the younger of 2 middle children. $27.25 is what the price is. This is going for currently. 5 days left on the auction. If it wasn't for the show, I don't entirely like this domain name. I don't even like it because of the show. My point is, themiddle.com, I would see going for a maximum of a couple $1,000s if it wasn't for there being shows and brands out there called The Middle. Which in that case, if you're going to use this domain name to target that show at all, it's trademark violation. You're not going to want to mess with it. So 5 days left on the auction, $27.25 currently. We can go look at Spy Food, but because it is a brand, a trademark issue, I expect the searches to be high, but they're all going to be about the show. Let's see, maybe not. The Middle, Malcolm in the Middle. That's the show I was talking about, which I think they rebranded as The Middle. Middle schools near me. It's kind of weird. Middle Eastern food near me. See, again, one of the things that happens with the is it gets dropped from the search engine. You'll see none of these have the at the beginning of it. I guess actually the 39,000 that it mentions here does. Let's check out the money. I'm a little shocked. $1.47 cost per click. That is good. I like to see $2 or more for the main domain names that we talk about here. I like to see $2 or more cost per click. Advertisers, though, needs to be 10, and those advertisers there, 0. 0 people paying that, meaning the person that was paying it decided they were making a mistake and backed out of it. Something like that. Yeah, immoral is a good domain name. Like, we'll see. I might even go a little bit for immoral, but that's not my word. Why, GoDaddy? Why are you down right now? Okay, there we go. Back up. Greatview.com ends in 7 days, so this will end just before next week's show. $13.25. The reason I wanted to include this one is when I travel, which I travel a lot, and next week I'll be in Florida. In fact, I like my number one thing is I want a view. Like whether it's from my room that I stay in, whether it's a bar or a restaurant I view or visit, I look for views. Like in fact, greatview.com would probably be a great blog for me. I can blog about the places I visit with the best view. The best bars, the best restaurants, the best hotel rooms, like whatever it is, I am all about the view, and a great view is a huge draw for me. I think houses and all kinds of stuff should make a way bigger deal out of it because I can't be the only one that likes things for the view. So let's go check it out in the keyword. Maybe I am the only one. Maybe I'm literally the only person. There's only 600 of us out there in the world searching for great view. What? Okay. But I don't think that's true. Let's go find out. Great view, Control F. We got a little bit more. Miami restaurants, great view. So this is me. This is one of the things that I'm searching for a lot of times. Like Miami restaurant with the best view, Miami bar with the best view. And I tried them all. Great view from up here in Minecraft. I guess that's a video or something. Boom, this is exactly, I would love to build this site out here, but then only 440 people would be coming out and visiting me, but that's okay. Okay, here's some other ones. Drive to a great views near me, places with great views near me, hotels with great views near me, greatview.com. Sounds like a tagline, sounds like a thing, or it should be. But you would go broke, and it would be a hobby, probably more than money. You would have to approach this domain name like you would a content domain name. What does that mean? That means realistically, you're going to have to take this domain name, blog, write, do whatever you can to create a great view community, and then people will be finding the site as if it's your brand versus your generic keyword great view. There's nobody paying for it, no advertisers there, which just makes me sad. That's not a good view. That's a really bad view, seeing all those zeros. Adding it to my watch list, though, because I am a sucker for a great view, and it seems like I should possibly own greatview.com. Maybe, maybe not. It's already up over 4 figures, though. That sounds less interesting to me. But maybe you are, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trainingonline.com. I always feel like these domains with online tagged on the end of them, it feels like a trap. But let's go check out the keywords. 6 days left on the auction. And let's see what the keyword, I'm guessing they're searches. The thing is, training, great domain name. Training online, yeah, 44 searches. So really not setting any records there. Online is just a dead word. Some of the times we open up Google Trends, trends.google.com, we'll type in training online, online is one of those keywords that just has died. We're all online. We're all plugged in all the time. We don't need to say online. And because of that, there's a lot of domain names like this that are dying that will end up going for good money, but you likely want to avoid them. They're in decline type domain name. Training online though is not bad. 344 is the money. No advertisers happening there though, so nobody's actually paying that money. And there's only 44 people, 44 keywords, so there we go. Let's see, the slate, that sounds like a trademark violation happening as well. Social action, boring. If you see something in the list that you want me to check out, let me know. A lot of these are domains that are near misses. Oh, what about this one down here? Dogcrates.com. Sounds like a product domain name, but, oh, that's right. I looked it up beforehand. I knew better. Okay, well, this is a good opportunity to say, this is one of the things that happens with expiring domain names. People can renew the domain name. So typically, by the time a domain name gets to the last few days of the auction, you know that domain name is going to complete, and if you win the auction, you'll pay, get the domain name. There's very few exceptions. One of the exceptions is enom. That is why we don't use them very often. Excuse me. Let me see. Used phone. Used phone. Not sure how I feel about that one. Okay. I'm going to take off the how-to QR code. I would prefer used phones. I'm choking on my coffee. I'm trying to hold it together, but you can tell I'm in trouble here. I'm in trouble. If that was usedphones.com, I would be really excited about it, but used phones, singular, just kills it for me. Let's see if we can, web parking. I know all you domain people out there, like me, like you see that and you're like, boom, that's going to be something. In fact, let's click on it. Let's see how much people are being, oh, that's not bad. I expected that to be more. Couple things. In fact, with this second word, we're just going to go pull up trends.google.com. We don't do it all that often, but it's worth doing because I was just about to say that web is another declining word, I believe. So let's look at these, and this is the past days, so that's kind of pointless. We'll look at the all-time. So yeah, you can see both these words. What I have behind me here are the keywords. Red is online, blue is web. So if you were to buy web parking or training online, you can kind of see here that it is going over time and declining. I'm sorry, over time and declining. So if you were to get these domain names, you have to understand that there's less and less people using the keywords of your domain names. So yes, 10 years ago, web parking, gold. Nowadays, it's parking or something other than web or online parking or online training, training online. So make sense? Okay, there we go. You can see it now, so you can actually kind of see that decline that's happening. Yes, there was a peak just before 2010, and just gradually those domain names have lost their value, which is why the person is probably letting them go. You could be the person that picks them up afterwards, but just know you're getting something in decline. I want you to get stuff that's on the way up, or at least holding steady, or growth in some way. Can you use those and make money? Absolutely. But just know, like, you want to kind of typically avoid the decline. Saw a tweet just recently that was talking about, buying domain names and holding them for 10 years is a great investment. And I'm like, I don't know if the idea of buying and holding domain names for 10 years is a good idea anymore. Like, things are changing so rapidly. If you were to buy a domain name expecting to hold it, doing nothing, not developing it, buying for an investment's sake, I think it's about time that we date our advice to not be that long of a timeline. I used to, in fact, even as a domain investor, internally, I don't really say it out loud here, the internet, I mean, nowadays we're kind of getting up there in years, but we would always say whenever we were looking at a domain name that was expensive, we'd be like, hey, this internet thing's a fad. We have to keep it in mind that domain names aren't likely going to be like the future solution for us getting information. Now with AI and all these other variables, 10 years? 10 years is going to be basically the world's going to look significantly different in the exchange of information, locations, and things like that. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're not building, don't count on that domain name. Things need to be built now more than ever before. If it's not built, then you might be making a mistake. I don't know. There you go. There's more opinion than anything else. So just like online and web are in decline, buying domains to hold, I think, just sounds like a really, Park Finder. Just sounds like a dangerous endeavor, just so you know. I know I got some domain investors that join me here. And I just want you to know, like, that advice that you see all the time is starting to be aged. I wouldn't count on it. Parkfinder.com. I love this domain name. Love, love, love. It just sounds like the kind of thing that I would buy. Why? Because I think our system, the Develop It system, that is part of why 150 episodes of Domain to Profit will be the end of this show, mainly the weekly Monday shows. I need to concentrate on my primary business just that little bit extra more, so there you go. Parking Finder. Hey, let's check this out. I like this domain name. I was thinking it's just fun. I thought it would be fun to buy like a lot next to my house and put together like a neighborhood park. I know nobody does that kind of stuff anymore, but it just seems like it would be fun. But the idea of RV Park Finder, not bad. Park Finder, Good Sam RV Park Finder. So RV Park Finder, that gives you a way to monetize a little bit. Park Finder by itself, though, sounds more like something that's, you're not going to probably make much money off of it. Although I do really, really like seeing these. Look at these down here. Park Near Me, 300,000 searches. Parks Near Me, 941,000 searches. Those are really big numbers down here. So I like it when my domain name matches the keyword, but Park Finder certainly matches the topic of a lot of these here. National Parks Near Me, Park Finder, National Park Finder. Maybe you're looking for accommodations, campgrounds, whatever else inside of parks. Cost per click, $4. But again, we're running into this all the time anymore where there's no advertisers, nobody actually paying the cost per click. It might be because it's seasonal, which just keep that in mind as well. 360 searches. Parkfinder.com, certainly on my watch list. I'm definitely bidding that at least to the $800 range. And it's on my list to, I'm going to remember that when I come back to it for possibly going even higher than that. Mega Baby. Yeah, there you go. I'm putting that up there. You mentioned it in chat. I'm putting it public. Find parks with coasters. Exactly. They're Coaster G's, which I know you have a domain that's being developed, and I won't make it public yet, but good things happening there from one of our community members. Pickpockets.com. I like that. This one goes right with, maybe the person that owned immoral.com also owned pickpockets.com. I don't know what the heck you would do with this. This sounds like a dangerous domain name to own. Let's go see if people search for it. I guess it's more of a blog, brand, pickpocket proof clothing. Oh yeah, I was just looking almost more for fun than anything else. Pickpockets.com, 7 days left on the auction, $45 currently. Not sure what to do with it, but it's fun to see it. Energy Oasis. I was watching Ready Player One. Ready Player One, it's the one where they're in the video game. They have VR stuff. Oasis is the place they go to. Pretty fun. The book is way better than the movie, but I was watching the movie the other day too. Loans Near Me. One of the things I love Near Me, I like, but I wanted it after my domain name. So I own towing.com. That's my main domain name. I love the fact that there's so many searches for towing near me. So you want to own loans.com, not loansnearme.com. Is there value there? Absolutely. But Google's smart enough. They don't really give you the benefit of that being part of your domain name. But people do. People will understand it. People will know Loans Near Me could be that. So almost treat it more like a brandable than something you would really target the Near Me piece in your search engines. Remotesite.com. I want to say we maybe talked about that last week. I'm not even sure if it's good. BathroomShowers. Would it be wrong of me to connect that to immoral.com? Anyhow, maybe not. I'm just keeping it bad today. I'm a bad boy. I'm shutting up. Okay. I'm literally in a room by myself filming this show. I should just shut up and not get swatted. 1,000 searches for bathroom showers, and it's recorded live forever. So 1,000 searches for bathroom showers, bathroom shower ideas. Let's go do the Control F, highlight the keyword, Control F. Not really much happening. It's because it's plural. This one's going to be more of a product, but at least we get to see some numbers down under the money piece of it. Cost per click up over $1, $1.58 is the cost per click for advertisers right here paying. Why do we always look for that? It's nice for me to be able to finally tell you why we look for that, because we've not seen it much today. So the cost per click, and the reason we want to see advertisers is that means that there's 4 advertisers paying $1.58. They're competing for the keyword BathroomShowers.com or bathroom showers. So if they're paying $1.58 or whatever, and there's 4 of them, and they're all competing and the price goes up and down, if you were to see ideally 10 or more advertisers, give them a call. Be like, hey, I own BathroomShowers.com and I see that keyword matters to you. Would you like to partner with me on the site? Would you like to have a profile on BathroomShowers.com? And if you had 10 people to call and they're advertising, literally paying money already to compete for a business related to bathroom showers, you would likely get a few very interested parties. There you go. Make something for them. Help them with their business, help them compete, or just straight up go full internet marketing as a service like we do in our business model and help them with their internet marketing via your domain name. So there you go. Nice to see some advertising money show up. Guide Shop. It's not a bad domain name, but I tend to, if my internal feeling about a domain name is it's an almost domain name, then I skip over it. So Guide Shop sounds like an almost domain name. So one of the reasons is shop as a word, different different countries and things spell it differently. It's spelled like, that's the best way I would say to spell shop, S-H-O-P, at least me, sitting in Ohio. But guide, I don't, you can do the keyword search if it's interesting for you. Planning consultant, college directory, VodkaBar. 6 days left on this one, $27 for VodkaBar. I search for gin bars when I travel. Not sure if people search for VodkaBar. Let's go find out. Seems kind of boring to search for a VodkaBar. 220 searches per month for VodkaBar. I'm just kind of curious as to how many people do gin, but VodkaBar drinks 230, so not really much happening here. And there's very little money, which I expected, because realistically people, let's see if gin beats its ass. Nope, gin doesn't do all that well either, so there you go. You live, you learn. Both vodka and gin bar. I would much rather own gin bar, but then again, it's only 6 characters long, so it's kind of valuable for that perspective. Great pleasure. Fruit carving. Ever been on a cruise and they carve the watermelons into flowers and things? Pretty crazy. Host access. That sounds like a good domain name to hack people. Anti-bugs. BlendMy. Talk about the my at the end of a domain name. I've sold. No, that was A. Okay, well, there we go. I like my in a domain name, blendmy.com. You can do blendmy.com/shake, blendmy.com margarita, something along those lines. You can play with that domain name. I'm going to skip over it for now. Not a huge fan of it. Pop search, beyond the curve. My staking, so that's how I like my. Rather, I don't like you in a domain name. Most cases, I don't like you. I like my. People type in domain names because they are taking the action to type. That means they are taking possession over it. So my always feels better to me. I think I have GarageBand on my watch list already. I don't know why. I just like it. Maybe not. GarageBand. Would that even be how you spell that? I'm not adding to my watch list. I'll skip over it for now. I don't know. It just seems like it would be a good domain name, but you have to go completely off your gut because nobody's actually searching for that. Sales push, that's a thing. I've definitely used that. Like, hey, we need to have a sales push. We really need to increase, members or sales. Maybe something there. Seems kind of boring. I'm not interested in boring, although I'm looking at plenty of boring domains currently. Elevator game, Galaxy Road, Baggage Hub. I think I have that on my watch list. Sounds like a thing. I think we talked about it last week, in fact. Internet billboards, again, talked about that last week. Is this list updated? Come on now. Home logs. Social bunny. What a social butterfly. I think we talked about that one last week too. All these domain names are the same, which is weird. Marketing boss. Marketingboss.com ends in 4 days, $40. This is like either a blog or a marketing domain name at most. Ignore the fact that marketing is in literally the domain name. I refer to it as a marketing domain name, something that would be, people use it or people might refer to it, and if they heard it, they would think, oh, that has something to do with a topic that might be used in marketing. Marketing, no. The reason that sounds so confusing is because it was. Marketing boss, I don't really think is going to be much. In fact, looking at this, 44 searches for marketing boss, Not really seeing any keywords that make me think this would be worth a darn. Maybe a jobs board. I think that's probably what people are looking for in this area. Certainly good for a blog. So a blog domain name, you'll probably be able to find somebody that would buy it if you were to buy it to resell. If you can get it for cheap, you can probably sell it for a few $1,000s. Maybe you just have to find that person. It's like, yeah, I want that as my blog. So maybe you'll find it. Probably not. Snack makers. Snack makers. Unless you're starting a union or something, doesn't sound like something worth a darn. Okay. Rewarding career. That is a marketing domain name. You've heard people and you've seen commercials where they're like, we offer a rewarding career in fast food. Something like that. Obviously, there's no rewarding career in fast food unless you're executive. Long story short, rewarding career is used in commercials. So because it's part of like marketing lingo around jobs and things, lots of people use it. Therefore, you can get the domain name for the sake of marketing campaigns or building out to where people can use it to reach that that kind of mentality or that value. A little bit hard to do with this one. Rewarding career sounds like a horrible, I'm not a big fan of it. Rewarding career sounds like fluff. It sounds like a rewarding career likely isn't going to be rewarding or a career. It's going to be a job you're going to hate and be at for a year. Just my opinion. I don't know. What do you think? Rewarding career sounds like garbage. 2 days left on this. $20 current bid, 3 bidders, so it's probably going to go a little bit higher, but ends in 2 days. Rewardingcareer.com. HireNurses.com for you jobs board people. Maybe, probably not. Cannabis Cargo, Scoot Club. Yeah, I agree. I've been at this 150 weeks will be when we end. I plan on going every week all the way till the end. Referring to one of the things in chat. I get a break. I've done the show remote as I've traveled a lot. And I actually plan on, I'll be traveling next week, and I'll probably travel a couple more times in the next 6-7 weeks as we wrap this up. And I will probably still be doing live streams. So you'll want to make sure you've subscribed, that you've went the domain to profit and signed up for our email list. Because what's going to really happen is you're not going to have that fixed 3 p.m. on Monday time frame. It's going to be kind of, you'll get an email alert, hey, I'm going to go live this afternoon or something like that. You'll get an hour notice, and then boom, I'll be live. So I still want to do this. I'm already spending at least an hour a week looking at domain names. And to be quite honest, I like doing it with you. I like the chat. I like the camaraderie that we have talking about domain names, both here and over on our Discord server. So I want to keep that up. I'll just kind of talk since these domains seem to be going kind of poorly recently. Much of it is just the fact that I've done the show on Monday at 3 p.m. the entire time, and I want to continue to keep it at that time. The only thing is what I found is Companiesitescom. Found that is like I come in on a Monday and I'm ready to crush my week and really get my company up and running, and just in my mind, in my heart is divided between this show with you and my primary company. And it really, we have really important things to do. My company does, that is. And I want to make sure that it's getting my full attention for at least a while. especially on Mondays. So the next show will end up being on another day. I plan on continuing to do something. Now, in the meantime, now I'm looking at Companiesitescom, 44 searches, but as I look down, we do have some money over here, so that's kind of interesting. $1.48 is the cost per click, 5 advertisers looking for company sites. They really took my dislike of web, literally, and they took websites, but so company sites, 44 searches, not really setting any records on that one, but we looked it up. There are people paying for it, so that's good. Bubble flow. FindAdvisor.com. So I do plan on doing content. And as I mentioned, I was chatting with somebody just recently over in the comments before the show. I want to revisit some of the topics we've done on the show, especially those first 10 to 20 weeks of the show. I wanted to make sure that I got content out that I've learned about domain development. So those first 10 to 20 shows, there's a lot of them that have some really important principles that we talk about week after week, but I taught them back then, which, because it's a live show, it doesn't make sense for you to go back and watch 20 hours of shows. Content's always mixed in with looking through domains like this. So I want to go back and visit those topics and prepare an official video on the different topics. FindAdvisor. Not sure if I like this one at all. 7 days left, FindAdvisor.com. I mean, now that when I say it out loud, I like it. FindAdvisor.com. Find Tax Advisor, 1,000 some. Financial Advisor, 1,000. Oh well, there we go. My gut I liked it for a reason. I didn't see the numbers. Now that I see them, I really like it. Up over $2 per click, 8 advertisers. Does that mean that this is a great domain name? Not necessarily. I mean, there's only 44 searches. What that means is those 44 searches, there's money and competition happening behind them. So I want to see that number much higher, the monthly volume. But FindAdvisor, it sounds pretty good. What do you expect to find on it? I expect to find advisors. Yeah, I like it. Wish I could talk more about it. I don't really know what to say about it. I like it because my gut says it's pretty good. That's all I can say. I wish I could decode that for you a little bit more. Let me try to Control F on this, Control F. See, there's nothing really showing up here. So we did the Control F to highlight. Nothing really happening. Let's try Advisor. So you can see here, Advisor, find Tax Advisor. So not much, but it sounds pretty good. This is a pretty good domain name. How about these down here? Okay, so we got Find Financial Advisor near me, 42,000. Financial Advisor, 47,000. The reason why my gut is saying this is a pretty good domain name is probably this right here. This would be what I would call a beachhead domain name. So a beachhead domain name is when you go for a domain name that maybe isn't the best domain name, but it is good enough to give you access to an industry. So if you're really wanting to reach financial advisors, you could get FindAdvisor.com, hopefully at a much cheaper price than you could go for Advisor.com or something like that. FindAdvisor.com, get it cheap enough, build a site that is beneficial enough, you can generate the money and just start off small and then hopefully grow into better and better domain names and a big business. You can certainly build an enterprise on FindAdvisor.com. $12 currently. Hopefully nobody's made the mistake of bidding. I'm going to refresh and call you out if you have. Okay, there you go. Do not bid on the domain name don't bid until 5 minutes left in the auction because domain name auctions are extended 5 minutes. And basically if you bid last second, or if you bid last second, it extends the domain, gets more exposure. If you bid now, then more people will see that somebody's bidding on a domain name, and more people like me will see the domain name. So right now it's buried on page 2, hidden a little bit, so don't get too carried away on that domain name. Wait until 5 minutes or as long as possible. Yeah, I wish it did it by name. I'd so call you out like that. Which it's all good. If it's a passive domain name for you and you don't really necessarily plan on, like, you do what's in your best interest. But bidding strategy-wise, I like to wait as long as possible. So fresh listings, not like, I don't mind it, but that's more of a brandable domain name. Ends in 7 days. That one already has a bid. That's kind of funny. They bid 3 days ago. They really want that domain name. In fact, I hate to say this, but I guarantee someone out there has an algorithm going where they watch a domain name that's expiring, and if somebody bids on it really soon after it enters into like the GoDaddy expiring auctions, I guarantee people like keep an eye on that and say somebody bid, meaning somebody really wants this. They were watching it or something. Basically, that sounds like a way to kind of like flank somebody. Like, you know they want it. Now you can act like you don't want it until late in the game and then bid late, get the domain name, hopefully last minute, kind of surprise them with the amount you're willing to pay. They weren't ready for it. They thought they were getting it for $50. Next thing you know, it's at $600. You get it, and now you'll end up getting an offer from that person to buy that domain name after the fact. They just weren't ready then. I've been both the person making the offer as well as the person that receives those offers. Those are offers where you buy an expired domain name and somebody else wanted it. They just weren't in the position to get it in that moment. Maybe they didn't know it would go for so high or whatever else. So they had to go get their ducks in a row and come back to it. I could see like some of those domain names, like what was it, fresh listings. That would be that kind of domain name. And what I'm referring to is today's the 5th. I'm sorry, it's May 1st. They bid on 428. If you can see that behind my head, which that's not possible because it's a giant head. 428 is when they bid. Basically, I don't think domains go onto the list until like 9 days. So basically it became available and somebody's like, I want that thing. Like, that's why you don't bid early, okay? I'm just outing them right here on the show. You want this domain, and now everybody that watches knows you want it. And if they want to bid you up, they possibly can. I'll add to my watch list. I'm not going to bid them up. I kind of like the domain name too, so I just probably cost myself money, and that's okay. Not really. I prefer not to cost myself money, but if one of you get the domain name, that's cool. You can always message me on any of these domain names. I don't need them. In most cases, I don't even want them. But I also don't like domain names going for cheap that I would want. Does that make sense? I mean, that probably sounds horrible, but if I'm willing to pay it, I'm going to pay it. And I'll get the domain name, and then I'll decide what to do with it afterwards. I don't want somebody else getting cheap domain names that I like so they could turn around and say, hey, I'll sell it to you for $25,000 or whatever you knucklehead domainers always do. Always trying to like turn around and make like $1 zillion off a domain name. You literally paid $200 for a domain name and now you want $25,000. Like, dude, $2K? You won't take $2K for that? Anyhow. Business goods. We're wrapping up. Let me see here. Any questions, anything coming up that I need to make sure I wrap up on? Make sure you're getting in the chat. And if you've already mentioned something, mention it again so I can see it. Because I'm going to be going over to chat once I go page down. Like militarytruck.com sounds like a fun one. Just cake it. Do 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 do. Just cake it. No, got nothing. Okay, Rapid Kit sounds like a reasonable. I'm gonna continue to go down the domain names after this. I like to look at domain names. I'll be looking at a few more pages of domains following the show. I just kind of do that. So let's summarize real quick since we have a couple minutes. Starting fresh listings. Let's see if anybody's already bidding them up. I just can't help it. I like to see what's happening. Okay, freshlistings.com, $12 currently. Wait to the last minute. 7 days left on the auction. FindAdvisor.com, $12. This is going to end up going for a little bit of money. Again, nobody's bidding yet. You want to wait as long as possible to bid because you don't want to bring people into a domain name. Let me just go over here real quick. Actually, I won't do it. Basically, on expireddomains.net, one of the things you can do is sort by the domains and bring all the ones with bids to the top. You could also filter based on how many bids things have, and you can watch for the ones that have one bid. And I do that. Others do that. So it just helps find the best domain names. So right now we're using the appraisal value from GoDaddy, which we already know that doesn't mean the value of a domain name. So we need to also look for domain names in other ways. One of those ways are the number of bids, or people that bid really quick, like we just talked about with fresh listings, or people that are trying to bid last minute. There's different things that we can do to kind of keep an eye out to make sure we're not missing opportunities. So basically, people like me are watching. You want to avoid people like me who buy a lot of domain names. You want to hide from us as much as possible. Because we are sharks. Companiesitescom, 5 days left on that one. $38 is the current bid price. I thought I added it to my watch list. Maybe I didn't. Rewarding Career. It's going to go for, it's a marketing type domain name. You hear it in commercials all the time. $20 currently, 2 days left on the auction. That'll probably go for way too much. Not even added to my watch list. Marketingboss.com, 4 days left, $40 currently. Again, not adding it. I already have like marketingmaster.com. I don't think I need to be Marketing Boss. GarageMan, I'm skipping over it. VodkaBar, again, I added to my watch list. I'm going to actually take it off my watch list. BathroomShowers.com, I was thinking more of a product type thing where bathroom shower, that sounds redundant actually. It's not on my watch list, but you might be interested in it. $12 currently, 7 days left on the auction. Pickpockets.com, a fun domain name, but I tend to like domain names where you know what's going to be on it. What are you going to put on Pickpockets? Like, that sounds horrible. But Pickpockets.com, $45, ends in 7 days. Parkfinder.com, possibly one of my favorite domain names from the show. The numbers don't necessarily back me up, but my gut says it's a good one, and I like it. Who doesn't like parks? I like parks. On my watch list, 7 days left on the auction. Somebody's already bidding, so count on it going for a little bit of money. Webparking.com, overrated. Web parking. Web is a downward trending domain name like our next domain name online. So know if you are buying either webparking.com or training online that you are buying into declining keywords, meaning make the most of them, but don't overpay. So what does overpaying look like? Well, watch the auction, see who buys it, and know they probably overpaid. Greatview.com, it should be my domain name. But wow, it is already up over $1,300, so it's not going to be. 7 days left on the domain name. The keyword data was not great, but I like views, so I like it. The middle, it's a song, it's a show. It's also currently going for an expensive domain name. One of the things I meant to mention on the middle.com, I don't like the. The's not a good beginning of a domain name, only because of the brands associated with it. Doesn't make sense here. So. And then immoral.com, I expect this domain name to go for way sickening amounts of money. It should be immoral how I got nothing. It's going to be worth it. It's probably worth $20,000, if not more. I will likely bid a little bit if it stays low, but it's not a domain name I'm necessarily looking for. But there you go. Alrighty. Okay, so let me just take a moment. I will say, as I mentioned, the 150th episode, which is, I believe, 6-7 weeks away, is going to be the last Domain to Profit. After that, it may remain Domain to Profit, but we'll do less. There won't be a routine. It won't be Monday at 3 p.m. I'm just going to change it up. For the summer, I have a lot of travel planned, some of which I do not want to have to skip a show or pre-record or anything like that. So I just want to enjoy the trips and enjoy my summer. So I will continue to bring you more. But what it also does mean is make sure you're asking your questions. Make sure you have gotten from me what you want to hear about expiring domain names and their auctions and developing them out. Ask those questions. Bombard me if you have to. I want to spend the next 6 weeks making sure that I am bringing you value, recapping what we need to recap, and making sure you're in the best possible position to crush it this summer so that way you can be living in the fall with the kind of life that you want to create for yourself using domain names. Because yes, I've been doing this for 144 weeks, nearly 3 years, because I want more domain names developed. They should be developed, as I mentioned during the show earlier on. Buying a domain name and holding it for 10 years, expecting it to go up in price, is not going to be, it's not a safe strategy. Like, you've got to be thinking shorter horizons now. You need to be thinking less than 5 years, probably 3 years if you are going to be buying a domain name with the purpose of selling it. Developing now more than ever needs to be on your radar. These domain names need to be developed, otherwise it's going to be tainted or bad real estate. Is the way I'm leaning right now. I changed my mind, but I think it's pretty, like, I don't see a future where domain names are as investable as what they are now. We are kind of at that peak is what I'm pretty much saying. The domains we look at here will probably be okay for a few more years, but if you're not developing them, you need to move them along. Okay, there you go, there you go. Thank you all for all your comments. Thank you for all your questions and your appreciation, and make sure you keep it coming. Drew Wash over on Twitter, find me there, and let's chat, as well as see you next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, as I'll be in Florida doing a remote show, chatting with you, looking through domain names here on Domain to Profit. I'm Drew Wash. See you next week.